Hi guys, it's me, Stuart again, and I'm here with my friend Mads Hejrskov, who is an international level referee. You're on the GP list, right, Mads?
Yes, in foil.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there we go. So today, important subject for developing fencers, or actually beginner fencers, and even high-level international fencers, how to approach the referee and discuss maybe why you didn't get the hit, what they're going to say to you, what you shouldn't do, right? So that you can get the feedback you need to develop your strategy, but not, annoy the referee. So, Mads, you've got like decades of experience, mate. Off you go.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and there are two main points I want to stress in that context. And one is, what do the rules say about what you can do? And two is the cultural factor. The referees is a group of people from different cultures, and they will react differently to your behavior. So you have to consider that before you start discussing with the referee. But let's start with the rules. The rules are very clear that first, you cannot take off your mask without permission. I mean, everybody does that when they're celebrating a hit, and it's okay. And two, you have to stay on the piste. And a typical reaction when refereeing junior World Cups, even senior World Cups, is some angry, sweaty guy jumping towards you with a mask in his hand and screaming that it's his hit. And this is, for two obvious reasons, this is perhaps not the best behavior. One, it's a rule infringement, worthy of a yellow card, even actually a group 2 card, which is, or even group 3, which is 2 is direct red card, and 3 is like a card, and next time you infringe the group 3, it's a black card. So I mean, disturbing the order is.
Okay. Yep. Could be.
Okay. This you will rarely have this reaction from a referee, but I'm just saying that the referee can actually punish you in many good ways if he takes offense by your behavior.
Also you're intimidating the referee, right?
Yes,
and that's
and this is, of course, you can say some people do that on purpose to intimidate the referee, and with less experienced referees, it will sometimes work. The thing is that people have learned this kind of behavior by having weak referees, probably younger people from their own clubs or something like that in national competitions. So they are used to getting away with this behavior. And when they get out to international competitions with experienced referees, they will be into some surprise, because not all referees will take it up very well. And I've experienced myself when I was a fencer that this referee whom I complained to in an aggressive way, he disliked me so much that all the 50-50 calls from this moment went against me. And the national coach at that time, he said to me after the match, which I lost 5-4, he said, "Yeah, Mads, there you got it. Yes, you may have been right about the call that you complained about, but after that, he gives 2 calls against you. And this is to say, okay, I did not like your behavior." Of course, you can argue that this is not the correct way of a referee, but we are not robots, we are human, and some people come from cultures where this behavior is they take offense in a different way. My personal reaction to this kind of behavior would be to order the fencer back to the piste. And then I will approach him and ask him what he wants. This way, I've shown him who's in charge, and I've even shown him I actually want to listen to him. But back to the rules. A fencer is allowed, not the coach. This is a point as well. Sometimes the coaches are standing on the piste discussing with the referees.
Discussing.
Just
very, very gentle words then.
I've heard about it. I've heard about this. But it's a different point. You're allowed to ask for the phrase. So when the referee is calling attack from the left, you can ask about the phrase, because it could be a difficult action. It could be a advanced action with some blade contacts. There could be more than one blade contact. So what you want to know, of course, is like you feel maybe you did the parry or a beat attack on preparation or whatever, and you can ask the referee. You're actually allowed to ask him about the fast arm, as it's called in French. So how you do that? I mean, the rules say you can do it. So you want to make it clear to the referee. You want to ask him about something. So raise your hand. Stay on the piste. Raise your hand. This way, he will see that you're not standing on guard, ready for the next action. So he has to explain. Probably he will just confirm his own call, but at least you have asked him. And most referees will not take any offense by you asking politely.
Okay, so that raises another point, right? I mean, once the fence has been involved in action and they don't agree with it, your advice, don't make with the great big gesticulations and oh my God, you're stabbing me in the heart, Mr. Referee. Right? To take a couple of breaths and try not to.
But this is the correct way. Also, it's a way you can play with that as well as you do with the other actions. I mean, I'm not saying that you should never try and push the referee. Of course, if you feel that things are going against you, sometimes you can act like you're really hurt by but if you're acting aggressively towards the referee, you will find that 7 out of 10 referees will actually respond in a negative way. And the negative way could be that they gave you a card, for example. Okay, sometimes the card is worth it, but the proper way, also telling the referee that you have an opinion about his work, because sometimes you can disagree with the referee. He can be a very good referee. We all make mistakes, and sometimes it's good that you by asking him about the phrase, he will have to, that if it's wrong. Sometimes you just know that a phrase is wrong. And you know that the referee probably knows it too. By asking him, you're showing that you're actually watching what he's doing. It's a way of saying like, okay, please, I know you're a good referee, but I think you're wrong. This way you have addressed him in a way that makes him, he will have to take you seriously after this. He will probably try. I mean, some probably won't care, but most referees will know if they made a mistake. And by addressing them in a polite way, you have just say okay, are you sure about this one? I'm not. And
we're all people, right? We're all trying to do our best possible job, right? The fences are trying to win, referees trying to read the actions. Nobody's trying to cheat.
No.
Everyone is doing everything to the best of their ability, right? Mistakes happen, or disagreements over, the finer points when you're pushing the edges of what's an attack or what's a bead.
Yeah, but also you have the chance, by asking him in a polite way, you actually do have the chance to make him explain. Referees are different. My best example of that was in a World Cup. I had a French referee at that time. He was refereed Olympic finals. He was one of the best of his time. And I made what I thought was a very good, composed attack when I provoked from one angle and finished the other. And he gave attack against me. Knowing he was a good referee, I was like, okay, I knew it could be given as attack and preparation, but I was like, I felt it was mine. So I waited until a similar situation happened with my opponent attacking me the same way. And I made a straight lunge into this, and he gave attack and preparation for me this way. I saw that the referee actually just had a line which I may or may not agree with, but he was very consequent in this way. By asking the referee in a polite way, you will get the information. Eventually, you will get the information that you need. For example, if it's this kind of action, you feel it's your attack and he's giving against you, and you can ask him, and he will say probably attack on preparation. For me, it's attack on preparation. This way, you know now that if you do the same action, probably chances are that he will give it as attack on preparation for you.
I've also seen some fencers discussing off-target hits with the ref, right?
Yes.
If that had not been off target, would it have been my attack?
Oh yes.
Right, which is another way to do this learning in a less hurtful manner, right? Because you lose the hit and you're trying to learn from it. You're going down. Everything, everything is getting tense. Whereas if it's an off target,
but you can, and this is why when I'm refereeing, I'm giving the phrase, even if it's one light. Sometimes I will show the fences what kind of action this is, so they will know that it was attacked from the left, but the attack was missing, even if it's close. Sometimes you see the eyes of the fences like, no, it was my attack on preparation, but if you explain the other, but you can ask and you will explain, yes, it was your attack, but you missed, or you hit off target. So of course, you should even ask, even in this situation, you can ask the referee, was it my attack? But if you're polite, he will not take offense. Even if you disagree with him strongly, don't raise your voice. I think this is the most common advice I will give. If you do, you should be aware that it may provoke a reaction. Of course, sometimes you cannot help it. Well, the fences are human too, and sometimes we want to win when we're standing there with a mask on. But the rules are clear. Stay on the piste, keep your mask on, and then you can play with the level of infringement you want to. Sometimes, if you feel it's the second time the referee does, you can take off your mask and look at the referee, and chances are he will not give you a card for that. Chances are he will ask you to take on your mask. But this is, for me, this is a strong sign, because now you're playing with the rules, and the referee will react upon that, one way or the other. But this is, I think, the stronger expression you can come without risking a sanction. Yes, but by asking the referee, you haven't offended him yet, and you show that you respect him, basically. And even if you disagree, you can ask him again next time, without risking some sanction. And I think for your own sake, it should be, you consider that. And that's that's it basically. I'm not sure.
What happens if you ask for more clarification, right? I mean, one side is beating, or both sides are beating.
Yeah, but you can ask. I mean, if the referee says attack, parry riposte, you can ask him about your. I mean, nothing happens by asking. I feel it's my attack on preparation. You will probably say no, it's a parry riposte. but you've shown him that maybe you feel it's yours. Sometimes you could be right. The chances are, you could be right. Chances are the referee is right. I mean, I think we're right, even if we're wrong. But by asking him about this, you can ask him. It's probably he will confirm his decision. But again, if you're not screaming at him, you can ask, wasn't it I feel it was my attack on the blade. And he was like, no, it's too late, or you hit his guard with the point. Chances are he will give you some explanation, brief explanation. I think most referees today, they realize that they are there for the fences. I mean, we are not the heroes of the competition, and the fences are and should be. And I think most referees today, if not all, are pretty much aware of that they are not bigger than the fences.
Okay. So what about, because you're also a coach, what about the coach's role in all this, right? I mean, I don't mean I mean actually back in the cell, in the building up years when they've been teaching their student, right? your student asks the referee and they say, no, your beat is too late or it's too far down, right? If the coach has been teaching their fencer how to think about fencing, they're going to understand how to interpret that phrase. Like, oh, okay, so I need to be a bit further back, or I need to beat a little earlier, or.
But it's part of your fencing education. Of course, we as coaches have a responsibility for that. I mean, when I give lessons, I discuss the possible outcomes of various action-reaction chains. For example, like if you're starting very slowly, I'm explaining that some old school referees will give attacker preparation if the other guy is attacking now. And if that happens, now I'm back to my example from my own fencing time. If that happens, you can ask the referee, but I feel it was my attack. And he said, yeah, but you make a preparation and he's attacking into it. By asking so, the fencer should know, and this is the responsibility of the coach, of course, to explain what may be the outcome. And my former coach, he always said to me, like, if the referee is good, he or she will referee consistently. So this way, okay, now this is preparation. So if I make this and the opponent is attacking, I should make parry riposte in this situation instead, because by doing so, I have protected myself. Or you can make attack into the same kind of preparation if your opponent does that too. This is what you do on the cell. It's like you're training these actions and you're training various options in various situations. Sometimes you have a referee. It's mostly on national competitions. I feel that you really get into these kinds of problems. I think the refereeing on foil, at least, is much more consistent today from referee to referee than it was when I was a fencer.
Are you talking about the international core of referees?
Yes.
Well, that is a nice change the FIE made, right? By having a core of
I think
referees they call upon.
Plus, we actually discuss with each other. We are sending video to each other with strange situations and calls, and then to discuss what is this, and you see from season to season everything's changing a little. What is so this is what you as a coach should observe as well when you're watching competitions on international level. Are there any changes into the preparation? When is the attack on preparation given? Now there's a step towards giving more attack on preparations when people are coming back and almost hiding their foils. And if you can make like a lunge into a step, even if the opponent is finishing afterwards and going with the weapon like, almost behind the body. If you find the time and it's clear that the guy who's advancing, he's actually only reacting to your lunge. We give more attacks like that now than we did a year ago, I would say. And this is, as a coach, even as a fencer, it's your responsibility to observe these things when you're watching international competitions, that be on YouTube or because you're there. And also what some people do, some coaches do, they're sending, and even some fencers are sending me videos from situations, even some of my own situations, asking me, Mads, what do you think about this? Because I still feel it's attacked from this. And sometimes I have admitted, okay, whoa, I made a huge mistake, even with video. I mean, even my video guy can be human. It happened, but sometimes you have a discussion with the fencer or the coach on Messenger or via email about this situation. Sometimes I still feel it was the right call, and I can explain. And you can ask some referee in a competition about some kind of action. I have a lot of discussions with coaches about situations when I'm at a competition. Normally, most referees are coaches or have some fencing background. They will happy to defend on a general at competitions that they will not criticize their colleagues. You have to understand that they will not start and criticize the calls of their colleagues. But if you ask about situations, most referees, if you approach them away from the strip, when you see them walking off coffee, you can ask them about some kind of action-reaction thing, or about some situations you have thought about, and what would he or she do. Most referees will be happy to discuss these things with you. We're there because we love fencing.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now what you're describing is basically people
I have
staying.
A few fences. Are you there?
Are you still going, Mads? I don't know. You're frozen a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we're back a bit at least.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but as I even have some fences, other countries who write me regularly and send me videos about some actions, asking me about my opinion, and I'm more than happy to give it to them. So feel free to approach the referees. Also, it never hurts to have a normal relation with the referees. We will not change our calls, I hope, but at least it will make the referees more inclined to explaining their calls to you if you ask about a call against you. So it's good advice. Communicate with the referees. We are people.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. It's about communication, staying calm, and treating each other as people, right? Not as an enemy or someone you've got to beat or something, right? Just someone who's trying to do their job. So find a way to communicate like normal people.
Yes, and furthermore, it will result into people being more inclined to actually being referees, because this behavior you started talking about, which a lot of fencers grew up with at national competitions, running off the piste with their masks off, screaming at the referees. It's very hard to explain people why they should bother being referees if this is the behavior they're met with. I remember in a cadet circuit some years ago, a local referee was a kid, I think no more than 17, 18, was refereeing. He was physically attacked by two coaches, older coaches.
No,
I was in shock. They ran towards him, started pushing him.
Wow.
Do you think he would be a referee? I think it would be very hard to explain him why he should after this.
Yeah. That's why every country needs their Jens Norman Jørgensen, mate. He had already called the police.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
But you're right. The amount of shouting that goes on at the refs and calling them rubbish and so on. Why would anyone want to be a referee?
Yeah.
And that damages our sport. The referee numbers get small. The tournaments don't run so well. People don't have so much fun. And there we go.
And you even have to accept when you're refereeing fencing competitions on various levels, even on World Cups. Not all referees are equally good. Some referees are better than others. But we are doing our best. I remember one funny situation was actually from football. My brother is playing some Series 6 in Denmark, which is like the second lowest level you can play competition. The second lowest league in Danish football, and something happened, and one of his teammates was screaming at the referees that, "Oh, you're rubbish! What the hell are you doing? Why?" And the referee responded in kind, said, "Yes, I'm not a good referee. I'm exactly the kind of referee you will have on your level."
Wow. Okay.
So I think the referee, he had some very nice insight about his own level, and but also about like, what do you expect? This is not the Champions League. I'm doing my best.
Everyone has to learn. There's a problem. Is where do referees learn to referee? Right. It's got to be at a competition. And what are we saying? If they get 80% of their calls right, it's excellent.
Yeah, you will make. I mean, we normally say that if you are refereeing a tight match without video, and if you make 2, even 3 mistakes, you can still, depending on the situations, of course, you can still be proud of what you've done. I mean, some matches are really tough. Some maybe some very close calls, and of course, if it's the last hit and you make mistake on that one, that will be what everybody remembers, and that's not good. But when you're refereeing, of course, you will have to realize yourself you will make mistakes, and the thing is that you will have to continue from there and continue refereeing and without thinking about mistakes. Not so different from when you're fencing. You will also have to live with your mistakes. And then this is the thing you have to remember as a coach, as a fencer. The referee will make mistakes. But if the referee was punishing you and your coach for the mistakes you are doing, it would be a bloodbath, because the coaches and the fencers are making more mistakes than the referees. And you have to take that into yourself as a fencer before you scream at the referee. Probably the thing that you disagree with the referee on now is a mistake, due to a mistake you did in your performance of your technique and stuff, which gave him the opportunity to referee against you. But if you can clarify that, if you ask the referee politely about the phrase, maybe his explanation will tell you what you did wrong. For example, if you stop completely, if he says attack, stop, attack from the other side, chances are that you actually did stop too much. We see this broken time, like you stop and you hesitate and you continue, and sometimes, like Peter Joppich is like stop, start, stop, stop, or Garotsu is almost like stumbling forwards, it looks, and sometimes they're doing it too much, and the opponent finds the right time, and of course they will argue and come to you like, oh, it's my attack, look, I continue, and you explain them, no, for me, you pulled the handbrake, and the opponent found the right time when you pulled the handbrake. Maybe they will still say, no, I feel like continue, but they will know within themselves that, and they got the information they wanted. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have to make my signal, my body language more clear to the referee.
Yep.
So this is how you should consider this. Like you ask for you get some information, and if you ask the referee correctly, he will explain what he saw. And by doing so, you've received some information you can use, if you can. That is
yeah. It's not something that people put into their training regimes, right? I mean, it's part of your mental, emotional training, right? Controlling yourself as the referee, feedback into your own fencing, go on to try to win the match, right? Whereas if you're just screaming and shouting,
sometimes it will rarely bring something good with it. I mean, I think most Italian coaches, they're very much aware of this, and most Italian fencers I've known, they're brought up with asking, because they're so much aware of this illusion they're trying to create. So if they ask, they will understand, and by talking to them, you will see that they're really going, even if they will still argue with you, they know that probably you're right, and they will continue the discussion just to push you a little out of control, and to like just give themselves some time to digest the information that they just received. So I think in at least some coaches, they are actually teaching their kids, their fencers, to how to deal with the situation in a way that you can benefit from, first by getting the information you need, but secondly, like to let the referee know that you're looking for after him, and also showing him that you respect him, like getting into his head this way, and then to have this moment to digest the information you got and brace yourself for the next action.
Yeah. All right, Mads. We've reached our time this time.
Yes.
So we'll leave it there. But just to wrap up, right? Just to make it clear, we're not saying don't show your passion, don't scream and shout on the piece, let it out. That's why we love fencing. We're just saying when you ask the ref, calm it down, be respectful. They're another human being and they're doing their best. We all are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, stay on the piste, raise your hand, and don't raise your voice. I think that wraps it up pretty much. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mads. And we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Ciao.